Freedom is contingent. One of the common refrains you will probably hear about freedom in video games is that it doesn't really exist. Players can't do anything and everything they may want to do. They may only do what the game developers program in for you into your controls. I somewhat alluded to feeling limitations like these when I expressed that I wished From Software games allowed me more interaction with NPCs outside of passively being talked to or killing them. This is a very fair recognition. A game doesn't really need to have absolute freedom to be a good game. No one ever looked at a game of Pac-Man and said, you know, I really should be allowed to recruit the ghost to collect the pellets for me, and while we're at it, Pac-Man should have a physics-based truck driving simulator between levels. No, that would be ridiculous. People tacitly accept that part of the fun of playing a game are rules and limitations that point toward achieving some kind of made-up goal. If the rules were none and the goal was whatever, then no one would know what to do, or even if they were playing a game. And yet, we still find that freedom of activity, freedom of choice, is a worthwhile value to pursue in games. But does pursuing freedom in the context of a game even mean that we want to be striving toward absolute, unqualified freedom? We just established that games are defined by limitations through the concept of the magic circle. Colloquially speaking, we don't even seek that kind of absolute freedom in our day-to-day lives. At least, I don't think so. When I say I am free, I don't mean that I can do literally anything. I don't mean that I can turn purple, sprout a monkey tail, and then jump into the sky and start flying through the air. I mean that within my capabilities, I am not being limited or forced by anyone or anything external to myself. Within my own power, I have the ability to choose. This is why, in game studies, the word freedom is often left behind, while the word contingency takes its place. Contingency is how we measure the feeling of freedom by measuring all of the options we did not choose, by recognizing all of the ways we as players might have acted differently. We are filled with feelings of agency and ownership over the choices we did make. That feeling of freedom from engagement with choice is the main drive that motivates striving for freedom in games, and also why some games feel far more open and expansive than others. Think about the contingency one may find in a visual novel. Some visual novels have no choices whatsoever. Still, some have dialogue options that don't result in any change to the text. These would be zero contingencies, but a visual novel with real choices that lead to different outcomes could have 2 to 10 contingencies per conversation, leading to lasting changes that exponentially increases the contingencies one could count. See Disco Elysium or The Witcher 1, 2 of the most vast, systems-heavy, narrative games you could ever play. But now think of 3D action games. 360 degrees of movement, 360 degrees of directions to point the camera, walk or sprint, horse or no horse, jump, glide, swing or vault. Every frame per second is an immeasurable number of contingencies that can make every input feel like it is truly yours. Yet, I caution against saying that, say, Spider-Man is more free than Disco Elysium. Whereas one has freedom of movement, the other has freedom of story. Where the contingencies are truly felt isn't merely numerical, but will be weighted by what the player already values. Weighted by what the player cares about when playing a game. So just remember that while freedom is nice, the kind of freedom we seek to achieve matters just as much. In games as in life. Stay true.